Thursday night with 912 Sports. Brought to you by Prime South Bank. Community banking making a positive impact on the community. PrimeSouth.com. Gibson Animal Clinic. Go to GibsonAnimalClinic.com to find out how to make an appointment for your pet. Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, a strategic affiliate of Southeast Georgia Health System. By Coastal Pines Technical College. Expect more at Coastal Pines Technical College. Go to coastalpines.edu for more information. And by Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross. Fords are cheaper in the swamp. Tonight, we'll take a look at what's happening in Southeast Georgia High School athletics with 912 Sports publisher Sean Smoke and 912 Sports writer and podcast host Kevin Price. With tonight's special guest, straight from the swamp, head football coach of the Ware County Gators, Jason Strickland. And Glynn County Schools Athletics Director Steve Waters will let us know what's happening at Glynn Academy in Brunswick High. Let's get it started. Thursday night with 912 Sports is coming to you live. So here's Sean and Kevin.
Joined here by Kevin Price. Kevin, how you doing this evening, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing good, Sean. How you doing?
Yeah, man, we're trying to get through this pandemic here and this coronavirus and everything else, but appreciate you guys joining us tonight. We're going to talk to Coach Jason Strickland and also to Steve Waters. So this is our kind of our first kickoff of our new format here. I guess it's Facebook Live, but it's a great way to communicate. It's a great way for everybody to keep up with the social distancing, a great way to people to stay in quarantine and still talk a little high school sports. So we're excited. We're excited where this format's going to take us. So we're going to give it a shot tonight. We got our first run at it, and we'll just see how it goes, Kevin.
Yeah, obviously you're going to announce in a minute why we are actually doing this video cast this week and also next week, leading into something big 2 Thursday nights from now, other than the NFL draft, which is coming up, of course, here pretty soon as well. We tried to avoid the conflict with that, and we're going to do that. But, yeah, we owe a lot of gratitude to our guy, Rob Asbell, who's back in the background right now, coming up with the Facebook Live idea mixed in with BLive TV. And we're here tonight because of all the background work. There he is, that Rob Asbell did. So, certainly it's great.
We're not supposed to see Oz until the end of the movie. So,
so certainly great to be here under the 912 Sports name, get our sponsors out there, and also some of the guest interviews that we have lined up. That's all just come together great so far. So, Sean, I'll kick it back over to you to kind of talk about kind of why we're here and what we're doing.
Well, first of all, Kevin, the only reason we are here is because of our sponsors, and that's one of the things I want to do is I want to thank our sponsors. I'd like to thank Robbie Robertson Ford, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic, or Summit Sports and Orthopedic Medicine, Gibson Animal Clinic, Coastal Pines Technical College, Prime South Bank, and Kim Smoke, licensed realtor with Crossway Realty. Without those guys, there wouldn't be any show, there wouldn't be any banquet coming up, wouldn't be anything. So we really appreciate those guys sticking with us and what we're trying to do here in these trying times for everybody. But like I said, appreciate everything you do, Kevin. Appreciate everything Rob does. But we've got a new member that's come on with 912, and we want to introduce her now. We've got Hayden Chambliss, who's coming to us from the University of Georgia. Hayden is a senior studying sports journalism at the University of Georgia. She's actually written for Bulldog Illustrated and worked on the Georgia Bulldog Sports Network as a content creator before the quarantine. And we appreciate Hayden coming on. She's going to help us with some social media stuff. And I think she's live if Rob can bring her up, and everybody can say Hayden, and Hayden can say a few words. So, well, I guess Rob's in the background doing something, but we'll see.
Sorry, guys. Hayden, we had Hayden dropped.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. But anyway, Hayden is coming on. She is going to be a part of the staff. She's going to intern with us as long as she's at home. Right now, we know that spring is over at the University of Georgia, and it looks like summer is going to be online only. So hopefully she'll be able to lend some of her expertise because she's been in this stuff, Kevin. She's done Bulldog Illustrated, which is a magazine or a newspaper, but she's been a part of that Bulldog Sports Network, and I think she can lend a lot of stuff on what we're trying to do here with this new format. Oh, there she is. Hi. Hi, Hayden. I was just telling everybody a little bit about you, but if you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself, and we're happy to have you on board here at 912 Sports.
I'm happy to be here. It's been really hard, of course, with the sports industry completely going silent. I think that's the first time that's ever happened. You know, normally
Definitely.
during a time of crisis, sports is the one thing that continues to bring people together and kind of make people forget the bad. And so I think this is a very unique situation where sports is actually gone. So I'm happy to be here and be doing something. So
Right.
thank you for the opportunity.
Well, we're grateful that you're going to be a part of our team, and we're going to look to you for some of your expertise because, like I said, you've done some of this stuff with the Bulldog Sports Network, and hopefully you can help us out and kind of guide us in the ways that we need to go with this new format. But I appreciate you and excited for you to be on board with us.
Yeah, thanks.
All righty. But that's going to do. We're going to throw it to a commercial back to Rob, and then we'll come right back here and talk to our first guest, Coach Jason Strickland of the Ware County Gators, head coach of the football team. But we'll be right back after these messages.
Thursday night with 912 Sports, brought to you by Prime South Bank. Community banking making a positive impact on the community. PrimeSouth.com. Gibson Animal Clinic. Go to GibsonAnimalClinic.com to find out how to make an appointment for your pet. Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, a strategic affiliate of Southeast Georgia Health System. By Coastal Pines Technical College. Expect more at Coastal Pines Technical College. Go to coastalpines.edu for more information. And by Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
Beginning is we do have a huge event coming up here on Thursday, April the 30th. It will be our all sports award banquet. As a matter of fact, guys, we would actually be at the Waycross City Auditorium tonight giving away a bunch of hardware with a room packed full of excited student athletes to get their awards. A lot of parents, a great meal would be had. But with COVID-19 and the coronavirus deal, we've got all that stuff shut down. But these kids have been robbed so much, especially the spring sports people, especially the seniors. They've had so much taken away from them with proms and sports seasons and memories that they could have been making. We felt like it was important here at 912 Sports to try to at least recognize these deserving, student athletes. And that's exactly what we're going to do on April the 30th. So we'll hope you'll come back and join us and give the support to these kids that they so well deserve. But again, we'll be giving away 37 awards that night, and really looking forward to it. I think this is a great way to get these kids involved, to get a lot of people, some recognition, and a way to do it that's, responsible with social distancing and the quarantine that we're all under right now. But our first guest tonight is the head coach of the Ware County Gators, Coach Jason Strickland, and we're going to talk to him a little bit about what normally would be spring football practice, but right now we're not getting that option. So there's Coach. Coach, how you doing this evening, buddy?
Hey, we're doing well, man. As good as can be, and just glad to have a chance to get on and talk a little football with you.
Well, Coach, we sure do appreciate you joining us. And Coach, first of all, how are you and your Michelle doing? How are your family doing in these uncertain times?
We're well. Just probably spending a little more time together than what we're used to, which can be good and bad, I guess. But
challenging, as they say.
Probably bad for her more so than me. But she's making me learn things I've never figured out how to do, which is like yard work and how to do things that's just well out of my realm of imagination. But
that was actually my next question. You two are kind of workaholics. I mean, you guys are always doing something at school, always, going the extra mile, doing stuff. And with that all shut down, what are you finding time to do? My wife has found the time to paint our kitchen. So she's been involved with that. And of course, when she's involved with that, I'm involved with that as well. So we've got that number one is marked off the list. So I guess we're moving on to number two. But what have you and Michelle been doing to try to stay busy?
Well, she's been keeping up with grades. I mean, that's a big thing with her. And obviously we had a bunch of schoolwork that was sent home with kids, for trying to get some guys kind of caught up or a little extra work, whatever it may be. And on my end, it's been a lot of communicating with other coaches throughout the state to find out what they're doing and try to get ideas of how we can keep our kids focused on what's gonna come down the road. And one of the things that we harped on before we kind of got separated from everybody was, hey, this couple of weeks is things that we can't control, but what we do over these next couple of weeks are going to show up at some point, and we fully expect it to be there in August and September. But she's keeping me busy. She's making sure that I'm on my P's and Q's and and taking care of things around the house. We've got a bunch of stuff here that's probably been put off for a year that we're trying to get caught up on. But she's trying to make sure that all the guys at Ware County High School are their grades are where they need to be, and me on my end, I'm trying to make sure our football guys are staying focused and taking full advantage of any opportunity we can get them.
Right. Well, Coach, normally y'all guys will be fixing to start spring practice. I mean, we'd be, a week or two away from spring practice. With that, not going to happen, not going to be a spring game. What is the Ware County Gators focus, and what are you sending out daily things for these kids to do, or are you trying to get them to communicate with you on a weekly basis, or how are you set up going forward, with everything in place?
Well, essentially, we're trying to communicate with our guys every day in some form or fashion, whether it's just shoot out a quick text or whatever it may be. Coach Wicker, our strength coordinator, is sending out a workout of the day every day, and I think you and I talked a little bit earlier. I'm not naive now. Hey, what we've done is we've challenged our guys to meet a number of workouts, film themselves doing that in some capacity, send that to us, and we're going to have a reward for them as we get closer to the season. But some of them are going to go out and they're going to kill themselves trying to do everything that's in the workout. Some of them are going to film themselves doing push-ups and sit-ups and maybe running around the house a little bit. And then I know there's going to be other guys that unfortunately are sitting around eating Cheetos and playing Fortnite all day.
That would be me.
But that's trying to do everything we can from a coaching perspective to communicate, to continue to send out motivation to our guys, and then making sure that they're responding back to us. It's the thing that we've harped on to our coaches. It's not good enough just to send stuff out to them. Make sure they're communicating to us. We got a full installation process that we were prepared for with spring practice in the summer. Obviously, we didn't get to do that, but tip your hat to our coaching staff. They took our installation process. It was going to be face-to-face meetings, put it all on video in 5 to 7 minute video segments, tied it in with EduPuzzle, which is a national quiz situation that through the school system was much higher than my brain process works, I can tell you. My wife actually helped us kind of get that set up a little bit. And, pretty much on daily, we're kind of sending out 5 to 7 minute videos to each position group from our installation stuff that's got quizzes tied in with it. So we get an immediate response, how they're performing with that stuff. And just trying to make sure that with everything that's going on, number one, they're hearing some things that are positive, and understanding that our full expectations is that come August, we're going to be normal and the Gators are going to be out on the grass playing football.
Right. Well, Coach, if they do lift the quarantine, of course, this is all speculation, and they allow people to get together in small groups, let's say less than 10, would that be something that you guys could work with, and maybe one day work with your backs and one day work with your receivers and one day work with the line? Is there been any thought process to something like that, and maybe not having the whole squad there, but having, small groups there?
Well, right now, anything. I mean, if we get access to anything, we're going to be excited about it. But yeah, and I'll tell you, Sean, really, that's a lot like our off-season stuff. Really, is right. What they call the 4-on-1s, and where you get 4 kids per coach, or something of that sort. Maybe a ball's not involved, but hey, we're able to work technique. We're able to have some meetings on installation, get a workout in. Whatever it may be. I mean, those are all things that I think are being discussed. Obviously, we're not wanting to do anything that's going to create danger or whatever it may be. But we also understand, man, we've got roughly 130 kids that are chomping at the bit to be involved, and they're great kids. But when you start taking them out of the school setting, there's 10,000 things you're going to go through a coach's head. Number one, are we eating? Hey, you go essentially for us from March 17th forward to whenever they say not being able to get a workout. What's going to be our health when we kind of get back together? So there's a lot of concerns that are out of our control. But yeah, I mean, at any point they tell us, hey, you can have access to your guys. We want to jump on it in whatever capacity that can be.
Right. And the one thing that's really going to be tough is contact, because you know as well as I do, it's one thing to be in shape. It's another thing to be in football shape. And I love what Welton Coffee always says about football. Football's not a contact sport. Football is a collision sport.
Absolutely.
And that's something that these kids have got to get used to before you put them out there in a, in a football game type setting. Well, Coach, you talked a lot about, talking to other coaches. What are you hearing? What are we thinking? And I know everything is speculation at this point, but what in your mind has to happen before us to have football in the fall?
Well, I mean, we need something positive from Dr. Fauci. It sounds like, we got to come on and tell us something. But I think and first of all, I'm gonna throw a little plug out to the Georgia Football Coaches Association that Travis Nolan and Tim McFarland are kind of getting started, and I've been fortunate enough to have been named on one of the board of directors there. But and making sure we understand and get the word out of what that group is. It's not something that's branched off by itself. It is a part of the Georgia Athletic Coaches Association, but essentially trying to give us as football coaches a little bit more of a voice with the GHSA. And we've got a meeting set up for next Wednesday. And a large part of that conversation that we feel like is probably going to be, hey, what are ideas if this thing gets pushed back further and further and further? From the conversations I've had, and this is purely opinion, Sean, it's just nothing factual. There's no information that's been given to us from the GHSA. But I think, we're having to start to kind of warm up to the idea that maybe we don't get our guys in June. I mean, best case scenario, hey, June 1st, everything's normal. We've got the word, hey, take off, get ready for August. But I mean, I think most of the guys I'm starting to talk to are kind of warming up, and maybe that's not the case. But if we can get everything back July 6th, that Monday after Dead Week, rock on. I think we can get into August. We're scheduled to scrimmage Brunswick August 14th. I don't see why we couldn't start. I don't know why we couldn't have that scrimmage August 14th if we're able to kind of get back July 6th and start rock and rolling. Obviously, we had a meeting today with our strength staff, Coach Wicker and Coach Steverson and some of those guys. You take these several months off. Normally, our first day of summer workouts are brutal. It's tough. We can't do that. We got to throttle back. I mean, these guys have had several weeks off, and now we got to almost come in like it's day one, and they're walking into high school, starting all over, teaching technique and those type of things, and getting their bodies back accommodated to being in the weight room. But hopefully we keep our fingers crossed. July 6th, man, that would be perfect if we can get that.
Well, we're definitely going to circle that date on the calendar. Coach, that's going to wrap it up for this time. And we really appreciate you coming on 912 Sports Connection Thursday nights. Hopefully we'll have you back maybe even next week and see if anything has changed at that point. But you guys stay safe, Coach. Appreciate it again for you, sharing the knowledge with us there. And hopefully we'll circle that date on the calendar, and everybody will have something to look forward to. I talked about it the other night. It's very important to have something positive to look forward to.
Absolutely. Hey,
don't you go crazy.
We all know what our grim reality is. I mean, it is what it is. Now, we got two choices. We'll get up in the morning. We can be negative. We can be positive about it. Let's be positive. That's not sticking your head in the sand. That's recognizing what the situation is. But that's having hope that this thing's going to get better. And, hey, the Gators are playing football this fall. Let's get ready for it.
That sounds great, Coach. We appreciate it. But we're going to kick it back to Rob for some commercials, and we'll be right back here with Kevin Price and Steve Waters, AD for GLYNN County.
Thursday night with 912 Sports. Brought to you by Prime South Bank. Community banking making a positive impact on the community. PrimeSouth.com. Gibson Animal Clinic. Go to GibsonAnimalClinic.com to find out how to make an appointment for your pet. Summit Sport Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, a strategic affiliate of Southeast Georgia Health System.
By Coastal Pines Technical College. Expect more at Coastal Pines Technical College. Go to coastalpines.edu for more information.
And by Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Thursday Night with 912 Sports. Kevin Price, of course, about to be joined by Glynn County Schools Athletic Director Steve Waters. I want to give a shout out to Sean for a great interview there with Coach Jason Strickland of Ware County. And, of course, obviously, we appreciate his time and interest tonight as well. But let's see if we can go ahead and get Steve Waters in here and get our interview going with him. There he is. All right, Kevin Price, along with Glynn County Schools Athletic Director Steve Waters. And Steve, I guess just to kind of start like Sean did with Coach Strickland, it's nice to see you. Nice to be able to be here in this format talking sports, high school sports with you. And I can only assume we've talked a few times during this whole thing, but I guess you and your family is doing about as well as you possibly can, just like everybody else.
Yeah, we're doing well. Coach Strickland said we've been home a lot lately, and I've got 3 girls in the house with me. So my wife and 2 daughters, and I told them a couple of days ago I need to get out and get around some men again because there's a little bit too much estrogen, I guess, in the house. But it's been great. You know, we've been watching movies together at night and actually eating meals together. Usually, as the coaches know and athletic directors know, and we're always at games, and we very seldom get to eat dinner together as a family. So it's been really great to spend time with the family and to really get around them. And, of course, you know, my daughter is a senior at Georgia, so her senior year kind of got cut off there. But she's home and doing online work, so it's kind of nice to have the family together, but certainly some trying times and times we're not used to.
And Steve, I guess we talked the very next week, right after things got shut down that Thursday night, March the 12th, I believe it was. And, you know, you kind of shared some general thoughts with me. And obviously this was something we never expected and certainly didn't expect it to even get to the point where we are now and things getting shut down like they have. And not only this spring, but worried about, you know, what might happen this summer. And, of course, certainly this fall, which we'll get to in a moment. But just share some of your general thoughts and kind of what's been going on in your mind and the coaches in Glynn County and the sports fans in Glynn County during this time.
Yeah, it's, you know, as coaches and athletic directors and administrators and teachers, we're creatures of habit, and planning and communication is essential to our business. And it's so weird right now because the plans we have yesterday are probably not going to be in place today because things are, you know, just so fluid right now. But, you know, as you said, we talked in early March, and back then we were hoping to just step back on the field, possibly have an abbreviated schedule and have a senior night and get into the playoffs. And obviously, as the end of March came, those plans were scratched and you know, wisely so. So we're having to adapt to that. But as you said, we had some online chats with our region athletic directors, and we had some plans in place to, you know, play an abbreviated region baseball schedule and, you know, just basically show up and have a golf tournament, a tennis tournament, a track meet and all that. And all those plans, of course, are scratched. So right now we're just kind of, we're really waiting about and just seeing the GFCA, as Coach Strickland mentions, new Football Coaches Association. Certainly they're very important in this process, Georgia High School Association. And we're just kind of waiting and sitting back and seeing what the, you know, the folks that are in decision-making positions decide. But one thing's for sure, we're all ready to get back to work. You know, I'm going in about an hour or two a day just to check emails. But, you know, I know our coaches are ready to get back to work, and we're anxious to get back to work. And at the end of the day, we do it all for the kids. And, you know, that's what it's about. We want these kids to be able to get back on the field again as soon as possible, but also we want to do it in a healthy manner that's not jeopardizing anyone's health. So it's really just to sit back and wait. You know, I'll be watching that meeting next week with the Coaches Association. Then our region athletic directors are going to be doing a virtual Zoom meeting on Wednesday. So the one thing about all this craziness, I think you and I talked about on the phone, is I've never had a Google Meets. I've never had a Zoom meeting. I've learned all this technology that I would have never known without the COVID-19. So I guess it's good from that manner. But, you know, it's a different world for sure.
No doubt. And, I mean, we're here in the same way on Be Live TV, on Facebook Live. Same thing kind of the same concept as Zoom, and we won't get too much into it now, but we're already thinking of some ways we can turn this into a positive if we can get back to playing high school sports, which we cover here at 912 Sports. But Steve, one thing, we'll never know the answer to these questions, and the 2020 spring will always be a mystery. But I know from talking to you here in Glynn County, we have some teams that possibly could have won some region championships and maybe done some damage in the state tournaments in their respective sports. Just to name a few, obviously the Glynn Academy baseball team had gotten off to a great start. I think the Brunswick baseball team was probably better than its record and hopefully was going to peak and turn the corner. Both Glynn soccer teams were great. The Glynn Academy track team, boys track team, had a chance to possibly do some damage in the state tournament, maybe even win a state title. GA tennis was alive and well. Brunswick High had some young teams with new coaches, and they were making progress, not necessarily showing up in wins and losses, but maybe that was going to happen too. And we'll just never know, but there could have been a promising spring for Glynn County.
Yeah, Glynn Academy baseball team was ranked #1 at Max Preps when the season ended. I think they were 13-2 or something of that nature. So they were certainly ready to make a run, hopefully. And of course, their soccer teams, I think the girls maybe have one loss, and the boys, I think, maybe were undefeated. So they were ready to make a run. Brunswick had a young track team, but certainly some speed out there that they could have certainly made some individuals or relay teams that could have had a chance. But it's just sad. And I heard a coach earlier. I was watching a webinar, and he said, my daughter's going to be a senior next year. I don't know what I'll do this year. She was, and our heart goes out to those seniors who really, halfway through the season, it just ended. And then, of course, the underclassmen are just as important. But it's something, like you said, we'll never know what the end result would have been, but we certainly would have loved to have seen them on the playoffs, in the playoffs, and see what kind of run we can make. And I hate it for the kids and the coaches and the parents. And there's so much behind the scenes that goes into making a team successful. And those coaches and players and parents put in countless hours, and you just hate for it to end that way. But there's no doubt we made the right decision, and we just have to think positive about it and just move forward. But it's certainly something I wish we could get a redo on. But that's life, and sometimes you get dealt tough blows, and you just have to get up from it and get your 2 feet back on the ground and keep going and make something positive out of it.
No doubt. I want to talk to you about things going forward this summer, and certainly related to football. But you mentioned the seniors, and you're going to do something next week, I think, possibly to honor them in the best way possible at this point. Just touch on that real quick, and we'll move on to some questions about how things might look going forward.
Yeah, so we're going to bring in all our spring sports coaches on Monday night. We're going to do it safely and keep our 6 feet, but we're going to go to our various locations, our baseball fields, our football fields for our soccer teams, and we're just going to interview our spring sports coaches and let them take a minute or two just to thank their seniors and to thank their team for putting the time and the effort they did into the season. And then we're going to put some drones up in the air and take some pictures of our fields, and we're gonna do a little documentary and publish it here in a couple of weeks. But it's just going to be a tribute to our seniors and the seasons. And then we're going to start every Tuesday and Friday night turning on all our lights at 8:20 p.m., which is 2020 p.m., and that's to honor the class of 2020. So just some small things. There's nothing we can do to bring the season back, but we're just going to do some things to say thank you to our community and to our seniors, and popping those lights on. You hear the saying, but there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that's what we want those lights to symbolize. Is those lights are certainly to honor this season, the class of 2020, but there is light coming up in the future, and we can't wait to get there.
Well, good stuff, and we'll certainly keep all the people posted on how they can see all that here in Glynn County. Let's talk about the summer and football on the tail end of that. I mean, the question I'm getting now that spring sports has been canceled, that also does include spring football, but people want to know, is football going to happen? I want to ask you a question about that in a moment. So just 2 questions left. But a lot of people don't realize the month of June is jam-packed The baseball teams come right out of their season, go into their summer season in January. I mean, in June. Softball teams can already start practicing because their fall season begins like in early August. Basketball teams go to camp, play a lot of games. And of course, football would be going on with voluntary workouts and 7-on-7s and whatnot. But right now, the way it looks, the month of June is going to be impacted too, and we're going to get off to a slow start for next year.
Yeah, I think I think Coach Strickland had kind of hinted at it, but I think June's probably severely in jeopardy, and I would be shocked if we had anything going on in June. And like you said, that's 30 summer games for our basketball teams, 30 games for our baseball teams. I mean, June is summer ball, and July is more football, volleyball, softball focused. But June, everybody's playing ball. So I think you can probably scratch that. And I was trying to think what that might look like if we did get to come back after the 4th of July. And, we may not have any summer ball, but we may just have to get ready for the fall. If we do that, that's fine. We can, we can adjust. But, I think June's probably in jeopardy, which will certainly put our teams and our team bonding behind. But we can make up for that. I don't think that's the end of the world. I do think, if we don't get back by July 6th, I think you're looking at a delay to the season. So, as Coach said, I mean, we get back July 6th, I think we can make it happen. From softball, volleyball, cross country, football, all our fall sports can be ready to roll come August. But if we don't get back at that time, then you're looking at a delay to the season, and then you're going to look at a lot of decisions that are going to impact every sport, not just football. But it's important to get back as soon as we can, certainly. But we got to keep the health of our players, the health of our fans in mind. And we got a lot of smart people, though. That's a good thing, and they'll make the right decision.
Well, let me ask you this real quick, because Sean will probably fire me if I don't ask you this one question, because he wanted me to ask you. But in terms of football, we all kind of know the old saying, football supports it all. In college or pro, maybe they can play a football season without fans in the stands only because they get TV money and all those kinds of things. In high school football, you need to put people in the seats. You sell sponsorships around football season that, also do carry into other sports. But the revenue you get out of football season carries on into basketball, the winter sports, and the spring sports. I know it's a big convoluted answer, but in simple terms, if worse comes to worse and there's no football season, we'll feel the effects of this throughout next school year for sure.
Absolutely. I'm kind of thinking about that in the back of my mind. And thankfully, we have a decent rainy day fund here in Glynn County. But, 80% of our overall revenue, it comes from football. That's through football ticket sales and corporate sponsorships, which are mainly based on football. So, our basketball programs make money and our baseball programs break even, but all of our other sports are non-revenue sports, basically, or either sports that we lose money. So, if we aren't able to get back on the field, I don't think we'll. You could be looking at having to cancel some sports or things of that nature for next year. I hate to even say that, but it's a huge economic blow athletically if we can't play football. So I do think, I've heard it being said, are we going to play football after Christmas next year? Whatever happens, we got to play football at some time next year because we have to have that revenue to really support all our sports like track and field and wrestling and, cross country and programs like that don't generate revenue. So football supports those sports. So it's essential we get back on the field and play football. If it doesn't happen in August, I think September, starting in September is very reasonable as well. So, I think the powers that be got to get their minds together and figure out a way to get everybody back on the field once it's safe. But, to answer Sean's question, we got to have football in order to support all our other sports. I know in Glynn County we have 19 sports at both high schools. So, competitive cheer on to cross country and everything, so rifle team and things like that. So in order for all 19 sports to happen, we have to have football.
All right, well, good stuff. Well, let's keep our fingers crossed that we can all get back going this summer and can have a football season as close to normal, or at least what we think of as normal as possible. Steve, thanks for your time. Keep you and your family safe and healthy, and we'll certainly be talking to you more in the weeks to come.
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate you having me on.
All right, that was Steve Waters along with myself, Kevin Price. Steve, the athletic director for Glynn County Schools. Let's break away for a commercial break, and we'll come back to wrap things up here on Thursday night with 912 Sports.
Well, it looks like we're back. Appreciate that. Kevin, great job talking to Steve Waters there. Appreciate you bringing up my question there. I kind of already knew the answer to what he was going to say there, but I think he hit the nail on the head. You know, at some point next year, we probably are going to have football to be played just so the athletic departments of these school systems can survive. So we'll see what happens with that. But again, a great interview, Kevin. Got a lot of good information there, and appreciate Steve Waters coming on, being a part of the show tonight. Appreciate Jason Strickland from Ware County coming on and being a part of the show tonight. Hope everybody enjoyed watching. I know it's kind of a little bit of a break from reality that's going on outside of everybody's door, but I think we'd be remiss if we didn't take the time, Kevin, to thank the people that are keeping this country going right now. I just want to give a shout out to all the healthcare workers, from the doctors to the nurses to the people that are cleaning the hospitals, to everybody that's involved, that are out there putting themselves on the front lines, putting themselves in danger, putting their family in danger, to help people survive this pandemic. But I know you, Kevin, probably want to thank somebody too. So who would you like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we could all certainly thank a lot of the same people, but I would like to thank the government workers. I mean, from the White House on down. I mean, this is a tough situation where some things certainly make common sense, but some things they're dealing with for the first time. And whether it's governors or mayors or city commissions and county commissions and the whole 9 yards, these people have really been put in a tough spot. And I know we're all coming at them with these questions and that question. We all have our own interest and things in mind, and they've really had a tough job to do. And certainly things have come up that they didn't even think about during this time, and they've had to amend their rules and make amendments to amendments. And it's just been craziness. And, we're all kind of running thin on patience, and we really need to realize a lot of people are just doing the best they can under the circumstances. So hopefully, those people are certainly earning their paychecks right now, and hopefully life can get back to a little more normal for them too here going forward.
Exactly. And I know Rob's behind the scenes, but I think Rob's got something he'd like to say as well.
Well, I want to thank the workers that are in the grocery stores, that are in the convenience stores, the people that we see every day that have to face people that walk in that know nothing about social distancing, that know nothing about wearing masks, and they have to face this every day and then take it home to their families. So hats off to everybody that works at a grocery store, a convenience store. My mask is on for you.
Exactly. And is Hayden still with us, Rob?
Yes, she is.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. I got to turn your mic on, Hayden.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Hey, I would like to thank everyone who's volunteering their time, whether it's to make masks or whether it's to stay at food banks and work there so that people have things to eat. Just people who are normal, everyday people who are going above and beyond to serve others.
Thanks, Hayden, and that's great. And there's tons and tons of people we could thank here, but appreciate you guys giving those people a shout out. Just a reminder, we are going to do a show next Thursday night, be at 7 o'clock. We'll work on getting some additional guests, so we'll be right back here on Facebook Live. So y'all come back and join us, and mark your calendars. April 30th, that's 2 Thursdays away. We'll be hosting our All Sports Online Awards Banquet right here on Facebook Live. Going to honor 37 very deserving student athletes here for our All Sports Banquet, and really looking forward to that. But Hayden, appreciate your time tonight. Kevin, appreciate your time. Rob did an excellent job, buddy. And everybody stay safe out there, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Yes, sir. Y'all be good.
All right. Good night, everybody.